The golden sun rose slowly over St. Peter's Square, casting long shadows that stretched across the ancient cobblestones. Its warm light wrapped around the grand basilica, making the entire square glow like a sacred painting coming to life. But today was different. Today was not just another morning in Vatican City. The air carried something special, something historic. The silence of the early dawn was filled with anticipation, as if even the ancient stones of the basilica could feel that something extraordinary was about to happen. People had gathered from all over the world. Some had flown thousands of miles, others had taken trains, buses, and long walks just to witness this moment. Their eyes were full of wonder. Their faces reflected pride, joy, and reverence. They stood together shoulder to shoulder, strangers now united by faith and hope. This was no ordinary ceremony. This was history being written before their eyes. Inside the basilica, a deep silence hung in the air. Cardinals in rich red robes stood in prayer, their heads slightly bowed, their hands gently folded. The red robes shimmered under the soft light, but their faces were calm and serious. Everything felt still. The silence wasn't empty. It was full of emotion, tradition, and sacred meaning. Then from the shadows a figure stepped forward. He wore white, a soft, pure white that glowed in the warm light of the basilica. It was Luis Antonio Tagle, the humble archbishop from Manila, now standing as pope. His steps were steady, his eyes were focused, and his face, though peaceful, carried the deep weight of what he was about to do. Each movement he made spoke of humility, devotion, and quiet strength. In just a few moments he would receive the keys of St. Peter. These were no ordinary keys. They had been passed down for centuries, from pope to pope, starting from the time of St. Peter himself. They were the symbols of leadership, of responsibility, of service. And now they would be handed to Pope Tagle, a son of the Philippines, the first Filipino to lead the Catholic Church. The moment felt alive. The walls of the basilica seemed to lean in closer, as if watching the beginning of a new chapter in the 2,000-year story of the Catholic Church. In that holy silence, history was being made. And across the world, hearts were beating faster in unison. From the vibrant streets of Manila to the peaceful rice fields in rural villages, Filipinos everywhere felt a surge of joy and pride. They watched from their homes, churches, and schools. Some stood before television screens, others listened to radios with tearful eyes and folded hands. Families came together, praying, smiling, and crying all at once. For them, this wasn't just about religion. It was about identity, hope, and the power of dreams. Pope Tagle, known lovingly back home as Kiko, had come a long way. Born and raised in the Philippines, he grew up with the same challenges that many others faced: economic hardship, community struggles, and the test of holding on to faith in difficult times. But through it all, his heart remained open, his spirit strong, and his love for God and people never wavered. He stood now, in the heart of the Vatican, representing not only a nation but a global community that had long been waiting to feel seen and heard. With his election, the East had found its voice at the center of the Church, and it was a voice full of warmth, compassion, and courage. The moment had arrived. A senior cardinal stepped forward. His hands held the symbolic keys of St. Peter. Their metal gleamed softly in the light, their shape unchanged through the centuries. Everyone watched in silence. As the cardinal approached Pope Tagle, he lifted the keys with both hands. His expression was solemn. He knew the weight of this moment. And then, gently, with great respect, he placed the keys into Pope Tagle's hands. It was a simple action, but it shook the hearts of millions. Inside the basilica, gasps and quiet. Tears rippled through the crowd. Outside in St. Peter's Square, cheers exploded like fireworks. People wept openly, flags waved, strangers hugged. Joy burst into every corner of the square. It was more than just a ceremony. It was a miracle of unity, of hope, and of faith reborn. In the Philippines, celebration broke out like a joyful storm. Fireworks lit up the night sky, their colors reflecting the pride of every Filipino. Church bells rang, streets filled with music. Children danced, Elders prayed with hearts full of gratitude. It was a national moment of pride, one that would be remembered for generations. Pope Tagle accepted the keys with quiet strength. He bowed his head, not as a ruler, but as a servant. He knew the road ahead would not be easy. The world was facing many challenges: poverty, division, loneliness, and fear. But he believed that with love, unity, and faith, even the biggest storms could be faced together. He looked out at the crowd, at the sea of faces, looking up at him with trust and expectation, and he smiled. It was a warm smile, the kind that makes you feel like you're safe, like you're home. And then he spoke. His first words as Pope were simple, but powerful. He didn't speak with the voice of power, but with the heart of a friend. He talked about love, about kindness, about the importance of listening and understanding each other. He asked the world to come together, not just in belief but in action, to care for the poor, to protect the earth, to love the people we often overlook, to forgive, to hope. His message wasn't new, it was ancient, but it was said in a new way, a way that felt alive and real. His voice, soft but steady, felt like a gentle call to every person watching. We are one family. Let's live like it. In the days that followed, the world reacted with amazement. Headlines around the globe spoke of a new beginning. Leaders from every nation sent their congratulations. Religious figures of all backgrounds offered prayers and support. Social media buzzed with excitement. Hashtags about Pope Tagle trended worldwide. Videos of the ceremony were shared by millions. People who had never followed church news before were now watching with interest and hope. But the most powerful reaction came not from powerful people, but from everyday hearts. From young people who saw in Pope Tagle someone who looked like them. From poor communities who felt finally seen. From migrants, workers, and families struggling to survive. They saw in him a leader who understood their pain and their dreams. Pope Tagle didn't claim to have all the answers, but he promised to listen, to walk with people, to open the church's doors wide, and to build bridges instead of walls. East and west, rich and poor, old and young, all would be welcome in the church he now led. He spoke honestly about the church's past, its mistakes and wounds, but he didn't stop there. He urged the church to learn, to heal, and to move forward with courage. He reminded everyone that faith isn't just about rituals. It's about love, about living the message of Jesus every day in every choice. With every speech, every prayer, and every step, Pope Tagle showed the world that leadership could be humble, kind, and strong. That true power lies in service. That faith can light even the darkest path. As the weeks went by, the world saw a new energy in the Vatican, a renewed spirit. Pope Tagle met with leaders from every corner of the world. He opened dialogue with other religions. He focused on issues like climate change, poverty, and peace. He didn't speak just from a pulpit. He reached out through action. People began to call him the Pope of the people, not because of titles, but because of his heart. He didn't live in grand silence. He walked among the people, listened to their stories, and prayed with them. He reminded everyone that the church wasn't just a building. It was a living, breathing family. The journey ahead is still long. The world is full of challenges. But with the keys of St. Peter in his hands and the love of millions in his heart, Pope Tagle is ready. His story is just beginning, but it's already bringing light to corners of the world that had long felt forgotten. This moment, this beautiful, emotional moment, will forever be remembered. Not just as the day a new pope was chosen, but as the day hope was rekindled. As the day a humble son of the Philippines showed the world that faith can rise, love can lead, and unity can be more than a dream. Let us carry this moment with us. Let it remind us of what is possible when we believe in each other, when we lead with kindness, and when we walk together, guided by love, toward a brighter future for us.